Good morning, guys, and welcome to day 4 of our fast. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you to all of you that's been praying for me. I truly appreciate it. It is much needed. I'm going to be starting off this teaching because there's going to be some work being done outside in a bit. And once it gets started, then I'm going to probably move to another room as I'm able to. So today the teaching is going to be let go for results. Let go for results. If you're anything like me, I'm a fighter, okay? I'm a person that when things happen, I get to the bottom of it, I investigate. I'm a person that will write to corporate. I'm a letter writer. Let's just call it like that. I know how to get things done. I know how to, I'm the person that I'm going to write to Congress, the White House. I'm not going to fight with like people that I'm going to do things at the lowest possible level. But when I see there's just a bunch of foolishness going on, I just have the ability to research things, to find out who I need to get in contact with, and I will get results. But sometimes with that, when things occur, I tend to immediately want to go in that mode. And there are times that even with our skills, whether you're and your connections and who you know, and maybe you're defenseless, you're just a person, you don't know how to defend yourself, we tend to want to either do things our own way rather than letting God handle situations. Now, granted, there are situations where you have to engage and then God will do the rest. And then there's sometimes situations, guys, where you need to bring the matter to God and let him handle it. Because sometimes in you trying to handle a situation, it's bringing out a part of you where there's frustration. It's taking its toll on your health, and it's taking its toll on your mind. And you may be finding yourself engaging in a way with someone that is bringing out the worst in you. That could be your children. It could be a loved one. It could be an annoying neighbor. It could be someone from work. And so when the person continues to be a certain way, it makes you want to get into fight mode or, okay, tit for tat. And some situations you have to just put it in the Lord's hand and remind the Lord, not that he needs reminding, but declare his promises and the things that he says and the things that he promised. So I'm going to read you 1 Kings chapter 3. And here, this is where two women come to Solomon, King Solomon, over a child. And what these women are saying is that they both had children. One overlaid her baby in the night. And then what she did, she took her baby, she got up, realized she had overlaid her baby, so she suffocated the child. And so she got up and she gave the other woman that lived in the house her dead baby, and then she kept her live baby. And so now they are before King Solomon trying to prove their case to him. And what is going on? They're both saying, no, that's not my baby. Yes, that is your dead baby. No, no, no. And King Solomon is going to do something that today we read about. And so it says in 1 Kings chapter 3, starting at 16, then came there two women that were harlots unto the king that stood before him. And one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day that I was delivered, that this child was delivered also, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no, oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm reading like that. And it came to pass the third day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. So there was no one else there but them. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son. So she said the child was dead. But then when she really took a closer look, this is not my child. This is not my son, which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living child is mine, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead child is your son, and the living one is my son. Thus they spake before the king. Then said the king, The one said, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. And the other say, No, thy son is dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to the one and half to the other. Then spake the woman, whose the living child was, unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O Lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other woman said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. That was amazing. They brought the matter before the king, and King Solomon was able to find out who the real mother was. King Solomon said, just cut the baby in half then. We can't figure out who the mother is. You all get half a baby. Now we know King Solomon, being a wise king, was not really going to have them slay the king, but what it did, it brought out the truth. The results were brought out because the mother who gave birth to the child said, don't kill, let her have the child. And when she was willing to let go of a situation that was really dear to her, at that point, results came. They were fighting together in the house, I'm sure, arguing, saying, no, that's not my baby, all of this. And then they decided, let's go before the king. And what you have to understand is that when you are faced with situations and circumstances in which it seems as if it is hard to prove, you may have a bunch of people against you. It could be people in your family. It could be people at your job. It seems like everyone is coming together and coming against you. It could be in a ministry. Not all churches are like this, but there are a lot of ministries in which they get together. They will pick on someone, pick off a person, just go along to get along. You can be dealing with a bad and dishonest landlord, contractors. There's so many things that you can easily face in this life. It could be even something with your cell phone company. And so what you're tempted to do is handle it by using the things of the world. Okay, I'm going to go talk to this person. I'm going to go talk to an attorney, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to get my family to help me out, and I'm going to call this individual, or I'm going to handle things myself. I'm going to break out the windows. There are lots of ways that people react to things. And the more you are fighting and the less results you're getting and the more frustrating the matter becomes, it can bring out a side of you where situations have escalated to the point that people are going to kill a person. They get so stressed they're in the hospital. They set people up. Violence occurs. People are driving their cars through businesses. They are stalking people. They are going to Facebook and doing some sort of all kinds of things. And guys, sometimes you have to be careful, especially saints of God. Because sometimes we can get so mad about a situation and some things can happen that now you're going to go on Facebook. You want to do a Facebook Live and you're going to put a situation out. And while sometimes things need to go on Facebook and things need to be talked about, a lot of times people will do things impulsively and out of their flesh. And when they do that, yes, you may feel good that you put this person on blast. You may feel good that this situation is this situation has been exposed, you may feel good that you talked about this church and what they did, and you went into great details. And understand, I'm not saying that when some things need to be talked about, things need to be exposed, all right? But you need to be led by God, because when God tells you to speak about something, it's not going to do harm to others. But when you're doing things out of malice and because you want to, and you want to bring shame, and you want to shed the light, and you want to spill the tea, what you can do is just what the Bible says. In the process of trying to remove the tares, you pull up the wheat. And the tares is when you're pulling out those who are dark, and exposing them, you end up destroying those who were trying to get to know God, but they became discouraged, or that situation affected them, that they said, you know what, I don't want to have anything to do with this. There are lots of people who are thinking of coming to Christ, but when they see the war, the full-on war going on within saints, they don't. There are people that are in the house of God, household of faith, but they see so many crazy things happening that they fall away. And so you have to be careful. The things that you talk about, you don't want to just be blabbing things and saying things because you feel like it. There's not one testimony or anything that I've shared or any teaching that I've given to anybody that the Lord did not eventually allow me to do it and to speak on it. And even then, he doesn't allow me to give names and locations and the name of the church and who did it. But we go through things sometimes so that we're able to help others who are going through things, and help others to strengthen them and to let them know, no, you're not crazy. No, this is not something you're imagining. And you encourage them in the Lord. You don't just say this is what happened and then get everybody riled up and upset and leave it like that. You show them how to do things different. You show them how to overcome. You share that testimony and to trust in God. Not to just be like, and what, I said it, because there's people that do that. So when you're trying to handle your matter your own way, and you go to Facebook, you can destroy people. And you'll find yourself being just as messy as individuals that are doing wrong and have done wrong. There's a reason why God tells us to forgive our enemies, because when you have unforgiveness and malice and bitterness against a person, it really begins to stain your spirit, man, stain your soul. And what's going to happen is the person still has power over you, and you're going to engage, and they can incite you, and you can just be a certain way. You can talk about them a certain way, and you never let go of it. It is like you are carrying a dead baby within you. You're carrying something dead inside of you, and it stinks and it rots and it's breaking down, but you just keep it all wrapped up because you want to hate. And so that can lead you to behave in a manner that is not of God. And you're not willing to hear anything about forgiveness. You're not willing to hear anything about letting go and letting God. And so it keeps you in a place of spiritual failure, spiritual stagnation. And then you're trying to do things of God with bitterness in your heart. It's not going to work, because you're always going to be easily offended, and you're going to bring out that little dead situation you have inside of you. And people are going to be repelled by it. Just imagine, God forbid, someone has a baby and they're carrying around the dead baby because they can't let go. And the baby starts to rot. The baby starts to stink. That is what unforgiveness is like. It's like you're holding something, because of the bitterness and things that you held on to. It just gives birth to something ugly and smelly. And it's going to come out in your personality and the way you deal with things. People are going to be averted because you're still carrying dead things within you. You're filled with dead men's bones. And so, guys, whatever the matter may be, we have to learn how to let go and see results. Letting go is one of the hardest things, because to let go means to relinquish control of the matter. It means now you stop doing what you're doing, and you're going to take it before God. And you're going to talk to God, and you'll tell him exactly what's going on. And when you do that, there are things that God will do that will change the matter and the situation. Or God is saying, be still for right now. And then he'll tell you when to engage to get the victory. Sometimes you have to be silent and not say anything. Just bring your cause before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and see how things will turn around. I'm sure there's somebody here that can give me a testimony of when you let go of a matter that you have been fighting viciously, ferociously, and you saw results. I can definitely tell you about an individual that I was engaged with for some time. They just had this specific pattern of behavior, and I was doing all I could to try to be first cordial, and then after a while just like, look, I'm not going to deal with you. But the person just had this sort of annoying personality, and they will just do things to try to gaslight, to incite, always just doing wrong. And then when you're trying to talk to them, they're being provoking and acting as if you never spoke to them about the matter in the first place, and then you're attacking them. And it just went on and on and on and on. And it was really grieving my spirit to the point I felt like I literally hated this person. I literally felt like I hated this person so badly that like my thoughts in my mind at times will just like, I wish that this will just happen, you know? And I had to call myself out on it. And I was like, God, please help me. Please forgive me. Because it just occurred to me one day, the Lord, and I know the Lord brought this to my mind, is why are you dealing with this? Why are you not just giving this situation to God? Why are you allowing this person to provoke you and provoke you? And they just had a cycle. I began to pick up on the cycle of this person. They had a certain kind of cycle, acting cordial and all is well, and then everything starts to decline, and then there's a argument, and there's just bickering and back and forth, and no, you didn't say that, and no, and it just totally deflecting and going off into all types of different topics. And you're like, what are you talking about? And so it crash and burn, and then here's a cycle again. They come back around, they disappear, and then they show up. What's going on? You know, and it was just like driving me loony, to the point like I literally was just like my mind. It was grating at me so much that in my mind started to just want this person to just, oh my gosh, to say crash and burn is all I could think of. And God started to deal with my heart. He started dealing with my heart like, give me the situation, put it in my hand. Why haven't you spoken to me about the situation? I see the situation, but you are not bringing it to me. And guys, I just got to the place first to ask the Lord to forgive me for allowing myself to go so far to the left. And I literally sat down before God, and I broke down and just started crying and was like, God, this situation, this is what's going on. And I just poured out my heart. I sat right where I'm at right now and prayed to God, but it was like I was talking. And I told him exactly what's going on. And I said, God, you've told me to do right. You've told me to do things this way. You've told me to do this. And God, this is what's going on. I laid it out in great detail. And the Lord just told me, just be still. And I will tell you, this person that had been a provocation, within a week, maybe 2 weeks, 2 weeks will be too much. It was maybe, a little over a week. This person was completely gone. I mean, they didn't die, but where they were in proximity to me, left, gone. No more did I have to deal with all this other stuff that they were doing. Just like that, in less than 2 weeks, done. And so what I want you to understand, guys, maybe it may not happen like that immediately, but no matter who it is that is trying to hurt you and harm you, no matter who it is that is lying on you, no matter who it is that is trying to smear your name to cover their own tracks, no matter who they convince, no matter who believes them, no matter who sides with them, God knows the truth. They may try to get the bigger attorneys and get their friends who are big wigs, and it appears that they are overcoming. It appears that they are getting away with things. It would appear as if they're winning, but understand that God sees the matter. They left you, they moved on with somebody else, and somehow it was your fault that they cheated, and it was your fault that they divorced you. They cheated, but they're going to say you cheated. And because you cheated, by the Bible standards, they had to divorce you. And they cheated with your friend, or they cheated with someone in the church, or whatever it may be, got them pregnant. They ran up and got married, and somehow everybody is going to ignore the fact that this woman was pregnant for your husband at the time that's now divorced you, because no, you're the one that got cheated. You're the one, supposedly you're the one that cheated, and you're the one that got pregnant, but then you aborted the baby, and he found out and he had to leave you. And so they're living happily ever after, and you're the bad guy. She cheated on you. She was being abusive. She's doing all types of things. But because she's the woman, everybody just automatically believed her. She's in the church, so she's been covered and she's being protected by everybody. And you're the bad husband and you're the bad father. And so what does she do? She's going to go off of what they call reactive abuse. She does things wrong to you. You've always been patient and kind and good to her. But the minute you got angry, the minute that you spoke, you raised your voice, she ran with that, and oh, look what he's doing. You're going to focus on your reaction and not what caused it. And I'm not saying, guys, that you are not responsible for your own behaviors and have to face the consequences of your actions. Yes, you do have to face that. However, what I'm saying is she will do things to get a reaction out of you, and then now the minute you raise your voice, you've lost your patience and you're speaking loudly towards her. She runs with that, oh my gosh, and everyone believes her, and then she's taking the children from you, and she feels she fears for her life when she doesn't. But because she's a woman, and because she's in the church, and because she has connections, you are now looking like the bad guy. Perhaps to this day, you still live with that. And the children all rally around her, and everyone rallies around her as she cries in front of them while looking at you from underneath her little hands, smirking. But I want you to bring your matter to the king. I want to encourage you all to bring your matter to the king. People that are bullying you, bullying your children, bring your matter to the king. Whatever it is that you are facing, that it seems as if you cannot get any sort of, you can't be heard, no one is listening to you. It could be a workplace, it could be a hostile work environment, it could be a bullying at work, could be so many different things, could be your neighbors. Bring your matter to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And when you learn to let go of that situation, as much as you are tempted to handle it your way, as much as you want to resort to violence, as long as you want to take legal actions and do certain things, understand in some cases legal action is necessary. But when you are taking those steps, trust God no matter what it is. If God says take things to the court or to go see an attorney, you go and you pray. You ask the Lord to help you to choose the right attorney, not one that's just take the what do you call it? You pay your fee up front and then now they're just taking their time. That's one thing I don't like about you have to pay them the retainer fee up front and then they're not working on anything. So you want to pray and ask God to help you choose an attorney, not a friend that's an attorney that's kind of lazy, but you want the Lord to help you to choose that attorney, and then you pray and ask God to let the matter be handled, and you take your hand off of it. And you don't keep, God, are you done? Are you done? What's going on? Because you're going to see results. Sometimes, guys, they're immediate results, or in a short period of time you'll see results, and other times it takes a little bit longer. But nevertheless, guys, as the Bible says, there are people that will appear to be spreading like a green bay tree, and suddenly they were not. We have read over and over of men great and prosperous and powerful men and women that they seemed to be just thriving, and no one knew that they were actually robbing people. No one knew that they were actually carrying out unfair practices. No one knew that they were sexually harassing people or assaulting people, taking things from people, taking money, and now we're seeing them being exposed. Or you've read about people being, all of a sudden it's out. That's how that works. They will appear, people that looks like they're just going and getting away with things, all of a sudden they will be exposed. People that try to make you seem as if you're a liar and you're this and you're that. When you just rest in God, as hard as it is, continue to pour before him. God is not saying that, he's not telling you stop talking to me about it. Bring your hurt and your pain, bring your tears before God, rather than want to get on the phone and tell other people and tell your part, and taking screenshots and uploading it on Facebook and talking about, oh yes, this is what's going on. He was cheating, she was cheating, they were doing this, they were doing that, my pastor did this, that, the other. Sometimes, guys, when you do that, it's going to backfire, because ironically enough, there are people who wanted to get something bad on you. They want some dirt on you. Some people want dirt. They don't want the truth. They want to believe certain things about you. Even though in their heart they may know this person and it doesn't sound right, but that's what they want to believe, because they want to believe that about you. So when you're going and you're telling people your side, they don't want to accept that. They want to believe certain things about you. They want to bring you down. Believe me, when people were sitting there, when people were standing in the crowd and saying, crucify him, they know that Jesus did not deserve that. But sometimes people, that's what they want. They go in with the crowd because they want to see you brought low. They want to see you brought to your knees. And so it's important, even in situations where you can't prove yourself, you are careful. You may feel good telling people things. You may feel good sharing things with people, but sometimes it can do more harm than good. Sometimes it can be used against you later on, because it does nothing but stir the pot. It's just your story against what's already in that person's heart against you. They don't like you. They've always felt a certain way. They may even just, sometimes you're telling people about your marital problems and that person is interested in your spouse. Or you don't even know this person is seeing your spouse or already talking to them. So all you're doing is giving the stool pigeon. You're just giving them information to go back to them and tell them what you're planning to do, so this person can strategize and plan. Because why? You're not using wisdom. You're not using understanding. You're not using discretion. When you bring things to God, God is going to give you the wisdom, and how he's going to reveal things to you. And as you bring that to him, he's going to say, stand back, come by my side. I'm going to fight the situation for you. And no one is a match for God. I don't know if you noticed that in this teaching that I read to you, something stood out. When the other woman, who the lady took her live baby and put the dead baby in her arm, she said in 19, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. So she rolled over and smothered her baby in the night. Okay. And she says, and she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me while I slept, and laid it in her bosom, and then laid her dead child in my bosom. How does she know that? Because to me, if you're awake, how do you know the time? How do you know when she did it? And then that means you were awake. Why would you let her just take the baby? But when you take a matter to God, God will reveal some things about something. God will reveal the truth about what was done, even if you were not there. That's the thing about when God is in the midst of a situation, he will reveal what is unknown to you through the Holy Spirit. The Spirit of truth tells you the truth. The Lord will show you secret and hidden things. The Word of God says that. What's hidden will be revealed. And when you allow God in the midst of your situation, when you turn it over to Him, He'll begin to reveal things to you. You're going to know things. Father, the Lord will show you things in a dream, what this person is doing. How many people that their spouse was cheating on them and you had a dream about the person and who they were with and maybe describe the individual. You see them out at a place doing something. Sometimes somebody, you end up having this big argument with someone, and before that happened, you had a dream of having some sort of an altercation with this person. Sometimes you dream it's another person, but it's that person. But sometimes you have exact dreams. God will show you clearly in high definition, and boom, that's exactly what the person was doing. But sometimes, guys, what happened? What she did, she brought the matter to the king. Because sometimes you ladies, you had a dream of them cheating. You already know, you already suspect some things, and you talk to them, and what they tell you. No. I remember the Lord revealing to me something about someone that I was going out with. We were in a serious relationship. And the first day of my fast, I dreamt that I had a dream that he was sitting in a black truck with a woman and he was kissing her or something like that. And at the very end of the fast, which was about 10 days, I had another dream, same dream about going to his place. Someone else came, answered the door. She was wearing one of his shirt, cut like she was wearing a sport top that he had, and she was wearing one of his baseball hats. And when she came to the door, something happened, but he was denying knowing who I was. So at first he was denying. The dream was, first day dreaming he was kissing another woman. And then the another time, 10 days later, I had a dream that he was denying knowing someone. All right. And then I went to go do some things, came back. And when I came back, someone else was in his place. She was like a brown skinned girl. She was kind of shapely, kind of short, and had on his clothes. And when I came to the door, he was denying that he knew who I was. And it would not be until way later, not too much way, but way enough later, that very dream that I had, I realized that he had been doing that. He's denying being with anybody when she was trying to find out, hey, where you been? Okay? So that and then some. But this video is not all about that. But what I'm saying is, God will show you things in high definition. How does she know? How does she know that she came and took her baby at midnight? The Lord will begin to reveal truth to you. The Lord will begin to show you what's happening. The Lord will pull the covers off on things. But sometimes, guys, it's not always for you to go run into them. Because sure enough, when I had that dream, I asked him about it and he denied it. Of course. Do we expect them to really tell the truth? If you are hiding something and the person says, I had a dream that you did this and that, you're probably going to deny it too. If you don't want it found out. Not justifying, but saying, how do we expect someone to just, they're going to confess that they're cheating? Or they've been lying, or they've been talking about you. Sometimes you don't have a dream about a person cheating, but sometimes you may have a dream about someone betraying you. The Lord will show you the thoughts and the intents of the heart. I told you guys having a dream about someone. There were all several different dreams. I had like 3 different times in that 1 year about this individual that will come around seeming to be friendly and nice. And then I always fall into some sort of ambush. And every time that happened, the person was nowhere to be found. So God will show you the deep things of a matter, but we have to use wisdom that we don't go running with that information, because the person is going to deny it and you're going to give them more time to try to come up with their next plan. Some things, guys, is just for you to know. God is showing you and letting you know, I'm in control. What I know, I'm sharing with you. And believe me, I'm in control. And we have to learn to go before God, intercede before the King for what we need, and say, God, I'm going to let it go, and watch how you will get results. But before you see the results, know that things always seem to get worse before it gets better. And that's just how things are. The devil is at work. Why is it getting worse? Because God is moving and Satan's nervous. And so he has to do all kinds of things to shake you up, to make you mess up, to make you go, you know what, just forget it. And then you go and do something sinful, and you go and you react in a way that is fleshy and mess up everything, because now you got yourself in the muck of sin. You got your hands dirty too. Pray, seek God about this matter. Let go for results. Some things you have to let it go. It does not mean you necessarily stop fighting, or you're letting go and like, oh, well, forget it. I don't need to pursue this anymore. But what it means is you're trusting God and not your emotions. If you've prayed about a matter, you're willing to listen to the voice of God. If he says, be still, you'll be willing to listen to the voice of God when he says, do not engage, do not respond, do not take this call, do not go here, do not do this, do not do that. He'll tell you, be still. And then also you will be able to discern when he wants you to move and do certain things. He may tell you, get this documentation, contact this person, take this to them, and leave that there. I will do the rest. When your attorney or whoever is being lazy, he will tell you exactly what to do. Tell you to rest. Be still. I'm in control. Somebody needs to hear this today. A part of having the face of a lion, a part of being a warrior for God, is not just making impulsive and crazy decisions, but being wise. And knowing that certain things, while you have the physical strength and the mental capabilities to do certain things has nothing to do with your strength and your connections and your great writing abilities. But certain matters, God needs to step in and handle it, because when he does, it's going to be clean. It's going to be done perfectly. And when God moves, it's not going to be messy. Let go for results. Let go for results. A part of being a wise warrior for the King of Kings and Lord of Lords is to know not only how to pray loud and read your word and quote scriptures, but knowing how to interact with wisdom and knowing that certain matters should be left to our King. All right, guys. God bless.